Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Odin's Movie Blog. I am the critic who is a cynic. How is everyone doing this evening? Happy Saturday to everyone. Hope everyone's weekend is going swimmingly. And welcome to episode 189 of the Welcome to Asgard podcast. As I said earlier and just a few seconds ago, hope everyone is indeed doing very, very well tonight. We, of course, are going to talk about the Mulan box office lies. That's right, the lies that Yahoo has been spouting, and all I can say is, I told you so. Yahoo had posted about a week or so ago about how apparently, because of an analytics firm, they were able to confirm that the film had made roughly $261 million in the first 12 days of its release on Disney+. Now, not only did this number seem very suspicious because it was way too high, it was too damn high, as the former head of the rent is too damn high party used to say. And that was one problem with it, was that it just seemed like a little bit too much money for the first time a film had tried to charge $30 behind a paywall on Disney and pretty much any streaming platform for that matter, where you have to pay money up front and then pay more in addition. So it already was a little too off for that very reason. Not to mention, having that happen in 12 days just seemed a little bit too much out of reach, seeing that even at the worldwide box office, that would seem like a pretty hard feat to have, even in a very good year. Even with a very good and strong release. And so there were already those issues with it. Made it even worse, the fact that Yahoo totally read the numbers wrong almost willingly. And I pointed this out in the video where I initially made the point about how they kept bringing up this stupid percentage, and yet they never mentioned what that percentage was based on. They never gave the actual raw numbers of what that percentage was based on. So basically, this analytics firm just pulled a percentage out of thin air and then tried to make assumptions based off of that. So, of course, Yahoo, and I remember calling this at the time, saying Yahoo is not really known for being a reliable source for anything. It's just become so, just in general, it's become very crazy political, very far left in a lot of the news stories that it does. But then I never go to Yahoo Finance for my financial information either. And guess what? This is proof positive of that. And if anyone who's watching this right now or watches in the future, has ever used Yahoo Finance for any of your financial information, hopefully this is all you need to know, yeah, you know what, I'm probably not going to do that anymore, because, man, they have no idea what they're talking about. Again, even a layman like me, even someone that's not really involved in the financial sphere, who knows very little other than just basic mathematics. It's interesting how I'm known as the math guy, but then all I'm really doing is trying to take basic math and I'm trying to put it all together and making sense to me and hopefully making sense to other people. But even I was able to look at that and say, wait a minute, how are you getting this random percentage if you don't have any numbers to actually compare it to? The whole reason, if you have 1,000 people out of 1,000,000 people, guess what? You can get a percentage from that because you have those numbers. I couldn't just say, oh yeah, 20% of people. Of what people? Of what total? Of what number are you even speaking of? They didn't actually have that. So it was totally insane for them to even come up with that in the first place. So IGN and many other places have, of course, covered the fact that Yahoo was incredibly wrong, and that instead of Mulan getting $261 million in the first 12 days from Disney Plus alone, that it might most likely made instead between $60 and $90 million. And here's the thing. That is also still really hard to prove, because that's also assuming that certain numbers are correct, certain numbers that we actually don't even have. All that Disney has released is what their total worldwide numbers look like, but that does not tell us how many of those subscribers are in the United States, and it also does not tell us how many of those subscribers actually bought the movie. Now, IGN and others have used the fact that we have three, third quarter filings, and that based on those third quarter filings, that it looks like it was around 10% or so of users who had utilized and had accessed and had downloaded or viewed in some way Mulan in the first week or so. And so obviously that's a little bit better. There's a little bit more meat there for us to grab onto. But even then, it's still something that is not giving full context because we don't know what it's 10% of, which is why even IGN and others are saying it's between 60 and 90 million. But even those numbers are hard to really pinpoint and hard to really believe in, because it could be less than 60 million. It could be even more than 90 million. I doubt it's more than 90. But honestly, I think it's probably going to be around 60, maybe even less than 60 million. Because think about 60 million and think about people spending $30 a pop on that. I mean, to me, it just seems very unlikely that you have, all of those different people who would actually be getting this. If we're talking thousands, maybe tens or hundreds of thousands of people spending $30 on that I would believe. But many, many millions of Americans spending that, I don't see that really being a complete possibility there. In fact, let's go ahead and just, so 60 million. So let's go ahead and put that into the handy dandy calculator. So $60 million divided by 30 would be 2 million. So I don't believe that 2 million Americans actually bought and paid for Mulan. I could be wrong on that, but it just does not seem very likely. I would say that I have a lot more sense and sensibility on my side than the original Yahoo article had in the meantime. But anyway, hope you're all here. Wanted to start off with that because the rest of the stream, for the most part, is going to be what I'm calling Supreme Open Forum, because yes, indeed, we have a new nomination for the Supreme Court of the United States. It's going to cause a lot of chaos. We all know that the world that we live in today is completely insane, but I think that it's important for us to talk about it and to, answer questions and ask questions now, because Lord knows if we thought things were bad when Brett Kavanaugh got nominated and went through his hearing, Lord God help Annie Coney Barrett, because I honestly think that she is going to get just eviscerated by the Democrats in Congress, especially in the Senate, because they are going to be very much trying to get her. They're going to be very much trying to make her slip. They're going to be doing dirty politics, because that is unfortunately the world that we live in today. Everything is so dirty and it's disgusting. And I think it's important for us to get all the facts and all the truths out there. That way, when the false information, when the fake news, and again, I know that sometimes triggers people when you say the word fake news, but let's be honest, it really is, that when that gets out there, we can actually look at the data and say, no, this is not true. Or, hey, this is really dirty pool. This is really dirty politics that you're trying to play here. So, of course, we'll be talking just a little bit about that a little later as well. But let's say hello to the people. How's it going, everybody? How's it going? Let's say hello to my D-Live fam. First and foremost, we got Captain Adam in the clan. Oh, we got Captain J-Rod, the beer guru, as well. We got Mr. Peabody over there. Philly the Hobbit's over there says, I like Mulan. I give it a 7 out of 10. Please don't ban me from the chat. Well, Philly the Hobbit, if you're talking about the original 1990s version, I would say, hey, you're absolutely correct. If you're talking about the live action one, I question your sanity. I question your sanity. If you are saying that you subjectively enjoyed it 7 out of 10, that's fine. As long as you can admit that there's a lot of objective problems with the movie. Because there are. Alrighty. So that is it on the D-Live as far as people tagging me goes. So let's say hello to people on the YouTube world. We got Slicer Neons, who was here early at 5:53. We got Robert Frey, Fact Fiction there as well. We got Forever Sci-Fi, who's a member on the channel. Dark Shadow Logan. Andrew Hoyle, hail to you, good sir. Thank you for being here. Glad to talk to you last night. Keck44 says, howdy, how's it going? Lord Toast says, hail to you, Hound 3000. Need some hugs. Well, hope hugs get sent your way. Hound 3000. Orange Hat Reviews, how's it going, good sir? Brian Barth in the chat. We got Tina B and 70B. We got both the Valkyries on time at the same time here this evening. Thank you very much for being here. Much love to the Valks. We got Miss Martin Muses. Miss Martin Muses. Hello again. It was great. I was with Miss Martin Muses and Father Christopher Miller. Hail, Father. I'm sure he's in the chat or will be in the chat a little later after he finishes up at Mass. But we had a lovely discussion over on Father Christopher Miller's YouTube channel, and we were able to talk about faith, talk about the concept of fantasy in movies and culture, and it was just a very nice discussion. We talked for about an hour and 20 minutes, and it was a lot of fun. It's something that I don't get to do too often, of sharing Catholic faith with other Catholics in that way, and so it was a lot of fun. Alex McCarthy at 658 says, howdy, Odin, how's it going? The title should be Pepperoni Open Forum, not Supreme Gross. Well, I don't like Supreme Pizza, but Supreme, referencing the Supreme Court, on the other hand, is a little bit more appropriate. Soul Assassin, how is it going? Brian Bartag at 658 says, why don't movie studios make any NC-17? Dude, Brian, I talked to you about this last night, man. Is like, have you seen any NC-17? No, the reason, here's the thing. What are most NC-17 films? Usually they're pornographic in nature. So I have no desire to see those. I don't want Hollywood to make those. And I don't really see the purpose of making those films, because all they're going to be doing is exploiting humans. It's going to be exploiting human persons, exploiting human bodies, and so I don't think there's any place for that. I'm just going to be honest. We can talk about free speech, free expression, but there are also limits to those things, and when it leads to you using people, whether they're willing or not, if you're using people as objects for your own gain, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to support that in any form or fashion. So please don't ask me again about NC-17 films, because I feel like you asked me now for 3 times, and I did respond to you last night about that. So JRO123, how's it going? 13th Warrior, how's it going? We got Joe Bag of Donuts in the chat. How is it going, Joe Bag of Donuts? Also, please, before I get any further, smash that like button. We got 91 people watching. Please smash the like button. I would appreciate it very much so. So thank you very much for being here. I appreciate it. We got a lot of people in the chat. Very happy to see. Very, very, very happy to see that. So let me find where I left off in the chat. All right, so we got 13th Warrior, Cobra Viper 999 in the chat as well. Lord Toth is a member on the channel. G Monkey 76 is here as well. Aiden Vickery, what's going on, Aiden Vickery? Glad to see you, another member on the channel. Glad to see you here. Lord Toth says, good evening, Odin. Everyone, good evening to you. JJ starting early, isn't that cheating? I didn't really start early. Just because the stream starts, it doesn't start till I'm on screen. So don't worry, I don't start too early. If I start early at all, it might be by maybe a few seconds. It's better than starting late. That's for damn sure. General Wingster, how's it going? Odin, what is a Supreme Open Forum compared to a regular one? I've already explained that. Let's see. Thanatos Felicitas, how is it going? Andrew Hoyle said lies. Yes, indeed. Yahoo lies. Disney lies. All right, Laura Toe says, watched Mulan with my wife and mother-in-law last night. I thought it was okay. They didn't mind it after I got through my rant. Yeah, and that's okay. Again, and that's for any movie, right? If you subjectively enjoy any film, I'm never going to try and tear away your subjective, enjoyment of the movie. I'm going to point out the objective flaws, and I'm going to point out the reason why I have issues with it, and I'll hope that you can agree at least to those points. But obviously, when it comes to opinions, I can't change your opinion on a movie. It's just simple as that. Let's see. No good. How is it going? No good. Fat Steven Seagal says, I love you so much. What's going on, Fat Steven Seagal? I see you shorten your name a little bit. Glad to see you here. And thank you again for being a member on the channel. Really do appreciate it. Slice of Neon's tagged at 701 and says, I was really disappointed yesterday when I didn't get a notification for the stream. My bad. Do you consider Tenet a failure or merely an underperformer? Well, thank you very much, Slicer. Yeah, well, I would say that we start always at the same time on Friday Night Tights, but that's also not true. We start around the same time every day. But yeah, so I'm very sorry about that. And obviously it's because YouTube sucks and doesn't notify people. But Tenet, I honestly believe Tenet is not officially a complete failure. At this point, it is underperforming, but then again, how can I say it's underperforming when we have the marketplace that we currently have, where so many theaters across the United States are still closed? Most of them are very much, cut as far as their capacities are concerned. Many of them are limited on showtimes as well. And I think that all that needs to be taken into account. The fact that the movie, last time I checked, was well over $250 million worldwide. Again, when you compare that to its budget, yeah, that's not that great. But when you think about how the fact that a movie in 2020, with the theater situation that currently is there, still was able to make $250 million, again, I'm sorry, but that is impressive. Compare that to almost every other major release that we've had this year. It's night and day. Tenet has made vastly more than every other major release that we've gotten since the theaters were allowed to start reopening. So yeah, 251 is still right now the current number. I'm sure that a lot of the sites are back and a little bit behind in updating because obviously the box office isn't moving very quickly. And so why would they want to update it every day when the numbers just really aren't there? So yeah, right now I would say, in general underperforming, but given the circumstances, I would say it's actually doing pretty well, right? Is it going to make its money back? That's a bigger question. Now, I would say that there's a bigger chance that it won't make its money back, but it could. Because it still needs to open up in a lot of states, in various countries. DVD Blu-ray sales obviously will come into play as well. So by the end of it, in the next year or two, maybe it will end up being in the black. But it's really hard to say right now. But to say it's a complete failure and flop, I just think is disingenuous. Let's see. Rob D at 702 says, hey, Odin, I watched The Godfather Part 3 last night. Well, God save you, sir. Says, I like that Michael was always sharing the knowledge he's gained over the years with Vincent, but that's it. Nowhere as good as 1 and 2. Yeah, I mean, even bad movies tend to have a couple of good things or a couple of good qualities. And yeah, it's been so long since I've seen part 3. I honestly don't even remember the characters and basic things that happened. I just remember I just didn't like it. But yeah, God save you for watching it. We got Laura in the chat waiting for Nerdrotic. How is it going, Laura? Everyone is still waiting for Nerdrotic at the end of the day. Iron Vet in the chat, how's it going? Jens Jurgensen at 702, who's a member of the channel, says, congrats on your new Supreme Court judge. Well, she's not the new Supreme Court judge yet, just a nomination. However, based on numbers in the Senate, based on the fact that she was, she was confirmed 3 years ago to the appellate courts, to one of the courts of appeals. I mean, just seems like a very good chance, and I don't really see why. Again, if she was good enough for the Court of Appeals, then there's no real reason why she wouldn't be good enough for the Supreme Court, unless, of course, it's a political reason, which, of course, is absolutely what's going to happen, and it's going to be a party line vote, and I would say there's a very good chance that it'll be either 51 or 50 votes for confirmation for her. I would say 2 of the Republicans likely will abstain from voting. There's 2 that are in potentially tight races in their states, and based, I guess, on their own internal polling, it looks like this position will help them. I don't really understand that necessarily. I feel like most of the time when a Republican especially goes against the current president, it doesn't work out for them very well, and I've seen that happen a lot when it comes to, the primaries and everything like that. People that have tried to distance themselves away from the president have not done nearly as well as others that have embraced the president. And I feel like that's very consistent with many, previous administrations and in previous elections as well. But yeah, I think she's great. Amy Coney Barrett, she is an originalist, so she thinks that the words of the Constitution should matter and that it's not her job to legislate, which is something that I think that a lot of those justices could learn from, right? The fact that you have freaking, Justice Roberts saying, oh yeah, Obamacare's fine, it's a tax, even though it clearly says that it's not a tax, but that, we're talking about Obamacare, that it's a penalty, not a tax. And then you have the people that wrote the damn bill that even after the Supreme Court okayed it said, oh, no, but it's not a tax. It really isn't a tax. And it's like, wait a minute. So you're saying it's not a tax, and yet the only reason why you still can have this Obamacare and the mandate and everything is because the court twisted it to say that it was a tax. So it's like, how does this make any damn sense whatsoever? So luckily, if Amy Coney Barrett does get confirmed, and I'm hoping that she does, having another judge on the court that's not going to play those legal word games is something that we desperately need. No question about it. No question about it whatsoever. Dean Approved, thank you very much for the $5 super chat, good sir. Thank you. Says, my dude, Tenet played in California. Drive-ins, man. Drive-ins, boom. That's awesome, right? It's awesome that's playing at the drive-ins, but again, I have to make the point, right? Drive-ins are great. There's not many. That's not a large amount of money. So yeah, they're playing at the drive-ins in California. There's still tons of theaters in California that cannot play it. And I'm sorry, but most of the money it's going to make in California are not going to be from the drive-in. So that's great. And I'm glad that people have been able to see it, at the very least, in that state. But until it opens up in theaters, it's still closed. It still has not really opened yet in that state. Let's see. Super Anime Gamer says, hey, what is up, my dude? What's going on, Super? Glad to see you here. Laura says, so glad the wife wasn't interested in the lame live-action Mulan, and she likes everything Disney. Well, I'm happy to hear that, too. Don't waste your time. It's not even that it's a movie that you might like or might not like. I honestly think most people would view it simply as a waste of time. Thursday the Warrior says, what's this group the new SCOTUS justice belongs to? So there's 2 groups. So the Federalist Society is one of them, which just means she's more of, again, a originalist mindset, looking at the Constitution the way that it was meant to be looked at, not really doing much as far as legislating from the bench, which is a good thing. If you mean that, she's a member of the Catholic Church, there is a section of the Catholic Church, though, that is more of a charismatic one. So very much about praise and worship, right? So singing various songs at Mass and doing a lot of things like adoration and singing very publicly and everything. That's pretty much all I know about it. I'm not an expert on the group that she's a part of. However, there was this false rumor, there's this fake news going around that it was that group that inspired the terrible religious, patriarchy in The Handmaid's Tale. Turns out that was completely untrue. Even Vox, right? So even Vox, where all truth goes to die, even they were able to come out and say, yeah, this was not true. And so I'm sure that even though Vox, a far, far left organization, and even it was the Wall Street Journal, which many consider to be more center-right, the fact that both of them were able to say that that was completely false, I guarantee you that there will still be senators that will bring that up. Because remember, these are the same senators that says the dogma lives loud within you. And are you sure that you wouldn't let your faith influence you? And I think to myself, would you be treating other people of other faith backgrounds this way? Or is it the fact that she was a practicing Catholic that made you have issues with it? And then you had one person who was no longer in the Senate because he was an idiot, Al Franken, who was basically going after her for her positions on various things. It's like, well, basically now you're just attacking her for her faith. When did that become okay? I don't remember that when that was a good thing. It's crazy. It's crazy the world we live in today. All right, see here. Tina B says, can't spell loser without spelling it Disney. Oh, wait. Well, that's a true statement. That is a true statement for sure. The new number 2, how's it going? Welcome back. Brightest Day, how's it going? Gen X Studios in the chat. Max Anderson in the chat as well. 66 Starship Alien, how is it going? Mr. Peabody, also member on the channel over there as well. Alien Being. Dude, that name actually reminds me. Stephanie B and Tina. Do you remember? I forget the name of the channel, but there was someone that they never showed up until like the very end, and they would always just say hi. And I want to say it was an alien type name. Maybe it was even just Alien. And it was always like this joke for a long time, like he's there, he's lurking, and you just don't even know it. And then people would try and tag him just to see if he was there or not. And then usually when the stream was ending, all of a sudden, boom, he would just show up. I'm forgetting the name, but I'm sure one of my Valks will remember. Let's see. Mark Lisseth, how's it going, Mark Lisseth? Glad to see you in the chat as well. Great having conversation with you last night in the Friday Night Tights chat. Tina B. Tad 706 says, he made a Supreme Court nominee. I had to take a nap after the family memorial this morning. If you thought Kavanaugh had it rough, you should check on the Bork nomination. No, he never made it. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's why normally the expression, the common expression was borking, right? I'm pretty sure that was because of how he was treated. It became like a meme almost, before memes were really a thing, right? Oh, you just got borked, is kind of like the way it was expressed. So yeah, Kavanaugh, I mean, that was unprecedented. We could talk about how Bork was bad. I think Kavanaugh had it much worse. I mean, this dude's reputation, even to this day, has still been destroyed. Like, I still worry for his family because that's the kind of stuff that will never go away. And that's why, especially, Amy Coney Barrett has 7 kids, 2 of which have been adopted. And I'm so scared and terrified that you're going to have the verified check marks on Twitter, especially. We already know that the Twitter cesspool is going to go too far with it, but the verifieds on Twitter and some of even the senators are going to go after her and go after her family. And again, if they go after her even close to what they did with Kavanaugh, where they're just drudging up crap that's not true, is unverified, again, I'm fair, again, because at least with her kids especially, a lot of them are still very young. Like, a lot of them are still grade school age. And I'm very concerned for their own safety, for their own well-being, and for their future. And that's why, as I said before, I want us to have anything and any doubts and any questions out and the truth in response before the media just picks up and starts going after her because she happens to have been nominated by the president that they don't like. And that's really all what it comes down to. Jay Stowe, who's a member of the channel, says, what's up, Odin? Chaos happens when they have been throwing their temper tantrum since 2016. Yeah, they have not stopped. Basically it was what? It was impeachment, Russia, and now all of a sudden it's an election year. And so now it's, oh, he's been terrible. It's like, really? I mean, y'all have kind of done nothing. Like, honestly, what has the House of Representatives actually done? Other than passing basic budgets because they have to keep themselves funded, what have they actually done that's of use? Not much of anything. And it's like, instead what they could be doing is they could be passing things in a bipartisan way and getting things working and getting laws that need to be passed. Because here's the thing that drives me crazy. There are things that Republicans and Democrats can agree on. And the sad thing is that we can't just pass simple legislation. We can't just pass simple bills. Like, I think that we could easily come together to pass something very simple without bloat, without any of the, pork barrel spending nonsense that we always have, and just get that through both houses with overwhelming support. But we just can't do that because everything has become so politicized. It's insane. Let's see. HyperNext13 at 707 Tagging says, "Howdy, my brother. How are you? Good to see you. Thank you for the giveaway. Got them yesterday. Much appreciated." Well, congratulations, HyperNext13. HyperNext13. Glad that you got them. Zachariah315. How is it going? Thank you very much for tagging me. Appreciate it. Hail to you, new number 2. Otherwise known as Dean Heiss. Bruce in the chat is a member. How is it going? First Sci-Fi is a member. 707 says, 2020 crazy. Look around you, Ellen. We're on the threshold of hell. Yeah, if we thought 2020 was bad, what is 2021 going to look like? Hound 3000 says, thanks, and hugs and kisses to you. Well, thank you, Hound 3000. Appreciate that. Let's see. Andrew Hoyle is a member, says, saw some lefty weirdo was going after her on Twitter about her adopted kids from Haiti, insinuating she'd stolen them from their birth parents. Yeah, I've seen this happen a couple of times too. So that is, I think, going to be the line that they try and cross, because that is crossing a line, is going to say, I want to know what organization she adopted her kids from, and then I'm going to look into that organization, and then if there's anything bad that I could ever twist for my own means and purposes, I will do that. Even if it's shown that they went through the entire process trying to, again, take kids out of poverty, have kids that needed a home, a place to live, to be raised and loved and treated well, and they're still going to try and twist that. Like, it's amazing to me. You look at her and you say, she's a mother of 7, right? She's adopted 2, but still, mother of 7. I'm sorry, man, but if you are a person that is going to be a mother to those many kids, and based on what I saw, just looking at the kids today, they all seem to be very healthy. They all seem to be doing pretty well. I'm sorry, but she's a hero to me already for that very reason. Now, does that mean she's going to be a good Supreme Court justice? I mean, obviously, I need to look more so into her record, more so into her logic and reasoning behind any decisions that she's made. But based on everything I've heard, I think that she'll probably be pretty good at that as well. But the fact that people are going to go after her for her personal life, when based on everything we know about her, her personal life seems to be pretty damn awesome, it's just insane to me. But that's the world we live in. That is the complete world we live in, and it's so very sad. JJ says, if you could nominate a movie character to the Supreme Court, who would you select? Ooh, a movie character to the court. I know the tempting answer is Judge Dredd, but in real life, obviously, I wouldn't want that, because he's judge, jury, and executioner. I am the law. But I'm trying to think about who would make a good Supreme Court justice who is a movie character specifically. I don't really have an answer ready. I'm going to say Doc Brown. I would love to see Doc Brown, just so that someone could come up to him in court and mention something about $1.21 billion, and then he could go, $1.21 just for the lols. But I also do think that he would be wise and would make good choices. Waiting for Nerdrotic at 708 rather. Odin says nay nay to live action Mulan. That's right. I say nay nay. That's right. I say I said oh nay nay. I say nay nay. All right, Gen X Studios. How's it going? How is it going? All right, looks like the chat is about to jump on me once again. So I think I saw Laura's comment there. So looks like we got some trolls in the chat. Always trolls. It's amazing. When the numbers come, so do the trolls. It always makes me sad. It always just makes me sad. Boom! Luckily, no comments for Skip, but let's go ahead and jump over to D-Live real quick and catch up with my people over there as well. Let's see. Camden High says, receive my shipment of Train to Busan and Shawshank Redemption, Green Mile. Can't wait to get to Train. Boom. Dean Heiss, glad that you got those, man. Thank you again for being a captain over on D-Live. And I hope you enjoy, man. Yeah, Train to Busan is fantastic. Seriously, it's wonderful. Captain Adams says, Empire Strikes Back is playing this weekend here. Yeah, it's playing this weekend here as well. And that's very exciting. But there's still, there's other films I love Empire, but that is also the Empire that is the edited version. I have the legitimate version, the original version of the movie. So even though I would love to see the movie back on the big screen. I would rather see a film I've never seen before than the subpar version of that movie, which is, of course, my favorite Star Wars film. Phone Nemo says, I think Tenet is doing rather well, given everything that's going on. Exactly, right? It's hard for me to say that the film is not doing well, given everything that's going on and the amount of money that's made. He then says, Phone Nemo says, Tenet will probably make its money back when it's going on digital and Blu-ray. Again, I think that's a fair point, too, and 4K, too. And yeah, I mean, I don't think it's going to be an incredible seller because it's definitely a very divisive film. There's some people that love it. There's some people that hate it. And there's some people that are still confused and don't know what to think. So yeah. Let us see. Okay. Yeah, more Turkish people over on T-Live. It's so ridiculous. Let's see. Philly the Hobbit tagged and says, Judge Chamberlain Holler, a.k.a. Fred Munster from My Cousin Vinny, would be a great Supreme Court judge. Oh, yeah. Dude. I love him as the judge in that film. And then Peabody says, why didn't they nominate Judge Judy? Now, that would be pretty awesome. But I think she's enjoying her retirement. So something tells me that she would probably say no. All right, let's jump back over on to YouTube. We got 104 people watching. Thank you again for choosing to watch. Please like and share the video if you could. If you're enjoying the discussion, as I am personally. So let's see. Laura, waiting for Nerdronic, says, thank you for tagging me at 709. It says, I think attacking ACB is going to backfire on the Dems, especially with suburban women. It's going to. Again, they're going to see a mother of 7 being attacked. That is going to be the optics there. And if you look and listen to the speech she gave today, she's very well spoken. She's obviously a very educated person. And so it's going to be a very bad look. It's going to be a very bad look for them if that's the direction they go. Especially when the candidate they're supporting literally has taken half the days of this month off. It was a crazy statistic to find out that he has called it a day, at 8:39 in the morning before doing anything for about half of the month. And it's like, aren't you supposed to be running for president of the United States? And doesn't that mean that you need to be like on the campaign trail and talking to people? And he's not doing anything. And I was trying to find what was his longest speech this year. His longest speech, I think, may have been under 20 minutes. And I'm looking at Tuesday when the first debate is, and that's an hour and a half with no breaks. An hour and a half with no breaks. I don't know how he's going to survive that. I honestly can't see it. If he can't be up on a stage for more than 20 minutes, if he can't be doing campaign stops every single day, how in the hell is he going to last an hour and a half on a debate stage? Now, I know some might answer saying, well, the moderators are going to be on his side and are going to, basically fight the battle for him. And I could see that happening in some of the cases, especially the last debate, which will be hosted by MSNBC, NBC, etc. But at the same time, too, even with that, he still has to stand at the podium for that long. And I'm supposing they're not going to have any crowds because obviously Trump tends to do better in front of crowds versus others. But it's going to be very bizarre. It's going to be very bizarre to see. But I do wonder, why why is he running if he's not going to run, is my thing. Brian Barth is okay, man. Just don't repeat questions. That's the big thing with me. When people repeat things, it's just, nah. Tina B at 710 says, well, we've had one movie win Best Picture. That was the only X-rated one, Midnight Cowboy. Of course, an X rating back then would be R rating now. Exactly, right? So when we look to the context of the situation, yes, context is always very important for me. Things that are the equivalent of a rated R today, again, don't really count as not being rated R. Let's see. Hybrid X15 says, hey, brother, what is your favorite character design of all time in any movie you've seen in your life? One that I can't stop thinking of is the Fawn from Pan's Labyrinth. Ooh, yeah, very cool. Character design, I don't know if I really have a favorite that I could come up with at the top of my head. Production design, movie design, that is something I have many more thoughts on. And I would say Blade Runner, the original, Blade Runner 2049, both of those have brilliant production designs. And I just love the way everything's framed. I love the colors they use. I love the world that's being built around them. I can't think of anything as far as characters go, though. Let's see. Mark Laseth, tagged at 711, says, throwing shade with better to start early than late. That's for damn sure. Let's see. Brian Barth at 712 says, the person who wrote that Kubrick article probably never had heard of Kubrick or had seen his films and had the audacity to say his films are not masterclass filmmaking. Yeah, Brian Barth, I think we talked about this also. I think we also talked about this the other day too. So as I said, I don't like when things get repeated when we've already talked about them. But yeah, because I'd answer that saying, because that was the article that you had said he didn't reach his potential. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't think that's true. But then again, that article is an opinion. That's just his opinion, and he has every right to that opinion. All right. Lord Toth at 712 says, Tenet will never be labeled a failure. COVID-19 and everything going on will prevent that. Yeah, pretty much, right? There's always going to be just this asterisk next to it because it still, at the end of the day, is making $250 million with all things essentially being closed. Let us see. Yeti Cass, how's it going? Brian Bartag says, what do you think of Warren Beatty? Wonder why he's not canceled. I don't really know much about Warren Beatty, so I don't have many thoughts. Mark Lizeth at 714, you missed Jeremy confessing he likes TV shows both ways and then get embarrassed that it would be clipped by Perry Chan. Oh, I hope it does. I hope it does get clipped, and I hope Perry Chan works with that. I asked if he could do something with the Friday Night Tights crew being a member of the gang in West Side Story with the snapping. And so let's see what he does with that. I hope that he does something spectacular with it. Let's see, HyperNex13 at 714. Oh, have you thought of getting the Super Mario 3D All-Stars on the Nintendo Switch? Has 64, Sunshine, and Galaxy. I actually have, because I actually never played Mario 64 all the way through. I remember I got stuck on that first level because it was a game that we never bought. It was one that I got to play. When you go to the dentist as a kid, they would have these game systems around. And so I only got to play Mario 64 a couple times, and I always just got very confused about what I was supposed to do because I was a kid, didn't know any better. I never played Sunshine and never played Galaxy. So I am very much tempted to get it. I don't know if I want to pay, and again, it's 3 games, classic games, remaster for Switch. I don't know if I'm willing to pay $60 for it, though. I'm just going to be honest. Fat Steven Seagal at 714. Yeah, name short for now. Keeping the joke constantly loses its potency. Plus, been helping out some other content creators and dreaming of your shiny, magnificent head. Well, thank you very much, man. I appreciate that. I need to find a way to really shine it. Hail to you, Iron Vet. Let us see. Lord Toth 716. Hail the chat. Love seeing all the familiar and not so familiar faces. Yeah, damn right, Lord Toth. Fasty Vizigal says, been helping La Reina Creole and can find me on random live streams lately. Very cool. Very nice. And no, it's all good, man. You're a member on the channel, Fat Steven Seagal, so it's all good. Don't worry about promotion. 8-Bit Snake Boy, hello to you, good sir. Glad to see you here. Laura tagged and says, good movie news from California. The county north of us just opened, and our county might reopen on Tuesday. Well, I hope that's the case, Laura. I'm hoping that is the case. That would be great, because if that was the case, then you could probably get the hell out of the house and go see a movie instead of dealing with all the craziness going on outside. And also, obviously, Tuesday night, they'll have the debate, and I'm sure that'll be crazy too. Only someone like me that, for some reason, likes to torture is a bit of a masochist, Let's see. Dean Approved 719 says, oh no, trust me. Tenet opening and drive-ins won't get its money back, but I'm just happy to go see it. People were talking about how long of a drive it was. I don't know. I was happy. Yeah. And so for some people, it'll be worth it. For some people, it won't be. And hopefully, as Laura was saying, hopefully more and more counties can reopen very, very quickly. So that way we can get more people to go see that and other things. Let's see. Super says, well, of course he would, Odin. Obama appointed Roberts. The Supreme Court is no longer what it was meant to be. Just like everything else, we made it partisan. Sad face. Did Obama? Really? I forgot. Who appointed Justice Roberts? No, that's not true. Yeah, I didn't think so. Yeah, it was George Bush. I was like, no, he didn't. I was like, Obama would never have nominated him because even though he's a swing vote, he was thought to have been a more conservative person. Yeah. So George W. Bush nominated him on September 5th of 2005. Yeah. I was like, no way. So yeah, That was wrong. You had your information wrong, Super. So, no, it actually doesn't make sense, other than the fact that you've seen a lot of different Supreme Court justices, like, for example, Stevens was the same way. No, not Stevens, sorry. Kennedy was the same way, right? Kennedy had been nominated under Reagan, and many thought that, Reagan being a conservative, that he would also be conservative-minded as well, and turned out not to be the case. And I actually liked Kennedy, to be honest, because Kennedy was very consistent. He was a swing vote, but he was also always consistent with his logic. And I at the very least appreciated that fact, that he was at least consistent with his overall logic in most of the cases that he did. Roberts is inconsistent. That's why I have a big problem with Roberts, not because he's a swing vote, but because his logic is just insane. And again, the fact that he saved Obamacare essentially by making up this crap about it being a tax, when the people that created the law, even themselves, said it wasn't a tax and that it was a penalty, just drives me insane. It drives me crazy. For anyone wondering, by the way, if you're either not in the United States or in the United States, right now with the death of Justice Ginsburg, and again, rest in peace, Justice Ginsburg. Right now, the court's makeup essentially is you have three members that many consider to be part of what's called the liberal wing. So a little bit more left-leaning. Basically, what makes them unique is that many of them believe essentially in interpreting the law with modern-day culture in mind, and essentially believe in legislating from the bench, which is ridiculous because, no, the job of legislating is in the legislature, not in the judiciary. So 3 members on the Supreme Court as of now are considered to be like hardcore liberals. You then have really only 2 people left that many consider to be like stalwart conservatives. That would be Alito and Clarence Thomas, who are considered to be like hardcore conservatives. So that's about 3-2. So if Coney Barrett gets appointed, based on what little I know of her record, but based especially on the fact that she believes in the same philosophy that Scalia, who had died a couple years ago, had also believed in, makes me believe that it would be then a 3-3 split then, in having more liberal-minded legislate from the bench types and 3 hardcore, nope, this is what the word of the Constitution says. And then you have 3 that are kind of in between, right? So Kavanaugh and Gorsuch, as many people who try and say, oh, they're conservative and they're actually a little bit more in the middle of the road, right? They're maybe leaning more conservative in certain instances, but they don't always. And so that to me would make the court much more interesting, because then you would have really an even split of 3 conservatives, 3 liberals, and then you'd have 3 swing votes essentially. So I see balance in that. I know that a lot of other people are going to say, oh, they were nominated by Trump and Kavanaugh is evil, even though, a big question, anyone that still has a problem with Kavanaugh, where's Christine Ford? Where has she been? If you try and, find her on YouTube with videos or speeches or anything, nothing's been posted in about 10 months, to 10 to 12 months. I wonder why. Is it possible that she got her money and then disappeared? I guess it wasn't all that important now, was it? Isn't that just interesting? Anyway. Let's see. 70B at 721 says, it was Alien. I thought so. Yeah, where is Alien? Yes, Tina B. I think it was just Alien. I don't know where Alien went. He just disappeared. 13th Warrior at 722 says, the Constitution prohibits religious tests as a qualification to any office. Article 6. Yeah. 13th Warrior. That's a fair point to make too. And yet somehow they get away with it. Somehow they get away with it. And it's insane to me that is what happens. John Galt. Yeah, I got that reference. Hybrid X13 at 723 tagged. It says, which both duo and trio did you enjoy the most? Aragorn, Gimli, Legolas, Thor, Rocket, Groot, Luke Skywalker, R2-D2, Frodo, and Sam? Okay, hold on. So I'm going to go Aragorn, Gimli, Legolas, and then I'll go Luke Skywalker, R2-D2. I think those, that didn't make a whole lot of sense, Hypern, I'm going to be honest. Did not make a whole lot of sense. Someone with gibberish for their name, oh, that's offensive. Well, it looks like gibberish to me. Lord Toth at 724. Another day closer to pension. Yes, Lord Toth. Yes. Forever Sci-Fi. Remember, they'll try to destroy her, but not a peep from them about the accusation that Hunter Biden was involved with human traffickers. Nope. And you know what, though? If Biden actually shows up, I still have a very strong suspicion that he'll just magically not show up for the debate on Tuesday. But if he does, one thing I can almost guarantee that's going to happen is Trump is going to go after him hard on his son, Hunter Biden. I honestly think that's going to happen. And you know what? It needs to happen because have you seen any media types going after Biden, questioning him? No. And guess what? When anyone does, Biden loses it. So you'll see Biden lose his crap. Trump will just be there saying, "What? It's a nice question. I don't get it. The problem." Blah, blah, blah. And it'll be fun to see. Bruce725 says, "I would think even the people on the left would go tone deaf after listening to a crying baby for so long, even if that cry baby is the left." Dean approved. "I giggle a little when people say conservative fanatic. Isn't that an oxymoron?" Yeah, pretty much is. In its most basic sense, it absolutely is. Super at 726 says, "I'm good, thanks. Just relaxing and laughing at my dog. He's not allowed on furniture, but just walked in on him chilling on the recliner like nothing's wrong." That's the best, though, because I bet he gave you that look of, "I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything wrong. I'm just sitting." Angry Mango, thanks for being a member. 726 says, "Nothing the Democrats do will surprise me." Yeah, again, after the way they treated Kavanaugh, when it comes to the way they treat people who are being nominated for the Supreme Court, the way they treated Kavanaugh, nothing's off the table for them. Nothing is off the table for them. And it's just sad. It's so sad that that's the country we live in right now. Bruce says, if they can, they will find the birth mother of the two kids and pay her to say what they want." Dude, Bruce, again, they would go that far. They would honestly go that far, because you know what's going to happen? If they were to do that, I could totally see this happening. They would say, "We need to delay the proceedings until we can fly them over." And that would delay it even more, and that would be all part of their plan. And yeah, Bruce, I think that's totally a possibility. Angry Mango says, "I hit the send too soon. I'm a Mr. Bungle." Don't be a Mr. Bungle. By the way, if you've never seen the video of a Mr. Bungle, look it up on YouTube. I first discovered it after watching a Pee-wee Herman special where he uses that video, and it is hilarious. It's all about washing your hands and being polite, but it's so bad. The acting in it is atrocious, but it's wonderful. It's so good. Don't be a Mr. Bungle. I'm so glad I got that reference. Some people are very happy with the Judge Dredd. Ooh, Brightest Day says Spock. That's actually a good point. Then I was just Felicia Tass at 727. Mr. Smith from Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. That's a great point, too. He was technically based off of a real person. It was not like a shot-for-shot remake of a person's life, but it was inspired by someone that did something similar. So, but yeah, that's a good shout, too, Mr. Smith. Absolutely. Absolutely. Alrighty. Chan has jumped on me once again. So let's see where we left off in the chat. Alrighty, let us see. Dun 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 dun. Boom, bum, 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 ba-dum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum. All right, looks like some comments may have been skipped. It's 7:30 p.m. over on YouTube. Again, I did not skip the comments. YouTube skipped the comments, but at 7:30 p.m., Orange at Reviews had a comment, so I'll get to that once I catch up with my D-Live fam. How's it going, D-Live fam? Let's see. Will Gentry, thank you very much for the diamond donation. Thank you for the diamond donation, my friend. Says, Steve Rogers for judge. He's pompous, but he's fair. I was thinking of Captain America. I was. But then I was thinking of Chris Evans, and so I got the two confused, and that's why I didn't say it out loud. Captain J-Rod, the beer guru, thank you very much for the diamond donation over on D-Live, and says, how about Judge Reinhold? Who's Judge Reinhold? Am I not getting that reference? Judge Reinhold. American actor, Edward Ernest Judge Reinhold. Oh, American actor, singer, filmmaker, starred in movies, Ruthless People, Fast Times, Ridgemont High, both Beverly Hills Cops and The Santa. I recognize him. Interesting. I don't see why not. I don't know much about him, other than I've seen him in a couple of things, but I didn't recognize his name. So I'll say no since I didn't recognize his name. Peabody says, how is our birther of Gods doing? She gonna pop? Yeah, so we're, this week we'll hit 39 weeks. Due date is set for 2 weeks, so around October 7th. So based on how things are going, it seems likely that we'll have to induce after the due date. So yeah, this also is a good point too. There's a very good chance that this might be, if not the last Saturday night stream for a while, the second to last Saturday night stream for a while, because obviously if something happens this week, well then I'll be out for a bit. But if things go the way I think they are, which means we'll get all the way till the due date, that means that next weekend will probably be the last full weekend that I have available for streaming, because obviously once baby boy is here, I'll have to take a bit of a hiatus. A bit of a break. Most likely, if I had to, again, I can't really guess this because a lot of things can happen, and obviously, we don't know what's going to be like, but I would guess it'd probably be at least a month where I would be on hiatus for. But I'll let y'all know and keep y'all posted when, birth and stuff like that gets going. That way y'all know when I'll be out. Levi then says, it's a race between Freya and Pearl to see who gives birth first. Probably Pearl. Phonemo, your dentist had video games. Lucky bastard. Yeah, they had N64 system set up. They had old school, what was it called? Super Nintendo they had as well. Because one of the games I remember playing at one of the dentists I had growing up was an old school Star Wars game. Because I remember being able to play as Luke Skywalker. So, yeah, old school. Camden High says, ACB actually used to work for Justice Scalia. He was her mentor. Yeah, that's right. She clerked for him, too. So, that's that's one of the reasons why I personally, just for me, think that she would be a good choice for that reason. The fact that she has a very similar philosophy that he does. Camden High is thinking about the 3 ice cream donations. Let's see. Captain Adam says, how is Freya? Love to her from all of us here in the clan. Well, thank you very much for that. Hopefully that explained it. Greetings from Germany. Well, hello from Germany. N3ACB. Or AC8. Villadhava says, Chinese movie called The 800 won the box office this weekend. Yeah, The 800 has been doing crazy well in China. And it's just been destroying everything, including Mulan, which is just, again, great to see happen. So it's a film that I definitely have some interest in. Thank you again for being here, everybody. Please smash that like button. We got 116 people now. Wow. Thank you. It's been a few Saturdays now where we've had over 100 people watching at one point. So thank you very much for being here. Hope you are having fun enjoying. Please, again, smash the like and share if you don't mind. It is free and it helps out. 7:30 over back on YouTube now. At 7:30, Orange Chat Reviews, and again, it is 7:30 in the chat, which means I'm about 20 minutes behind, as I normally am. So Orange Chat says, a movie character for SCOTUS pick, maybe Judge Hershey from the Stallone Dread. 13th Warrior at 7:30, Al Pacino, you're out of order, the whole trial's out of order. I don't know what voice I was doing there. I cannot do a good Al Pacino, that's for sure. Thanatos Felicitas, look up a book called How to Lie with Statistics by Daryl Huff. It's a good book on how you can mislead with math. I don't even need to read the book because I just know it's a fact. Yahoo did that thing. Yahoo is total proof of that point. It's very easy to do that, right? All you need to do is give a random statistic and you can spin it whatever way you want. Soul Assassin says Judge Judy. That would be a good one, for sure. All right, Greta Zenner, how's it going, Greta? Glad to see you here. Let's see, where are we? Andrew Hoyle at 7:32. I envisage Biden's head popping like the scene from Scanners as he tried to handle the debate. Yeah, probably. Excuse me. Fast Evening All says, John Panette, if still alive, as SCJ. Yes, John Panette as a Supreme Court judge would be fantastic. I say nay, nay. That's not a ruling. I say nay, nay. It would be the best opinions to ever read because it would just simply say nay, nay or yay, yay. It'd be fantastic. Eric K, how's it going, good sir? Glad to see you here. Thank you again for being a member on the channel. All right, let's see. What are we in the chat? AFK Bard, what's going on? Glad to see you again. Nebraska because how's it going as well? Looking for more tags. Soul Assassin at 7:35. What's this about the Meghan Merkel chick wanting to run for president? Yeah, I saw that floating around, and I just one, I don't think it's true, and two, I don't care. No one's going to vote for her. And by no one, obviously, some people will vote for her because people will vote for anyone, but no one's going to honestly think that she's serious at all, especially with all the other nonsense that she's been doing. So please go right ahead. Embarrass yourself. One Man Show. Hello, I see you in the chat. Super Tag 735 says he's supposed to be campaigning, but the left has so lost it. I wouldn't be surprised if half his team thinks America will just flock to him because Trump bad. I honestly do think, Super, that is what they're banking on. I really do think that is their philosophy. They think all we need to do is keep Joe out of the public light and let Trump, put his foot in his mouth, which he's going to do. I mean, again, as you all know, I am not a Trump guy. I didn't vote for him in 2016. I'm really looking at a lot of the options that are on my specific ballot because I'm an independent. I'm very much independent. I definitely lean more by what many consider to be conservative leanings, but at the end of the day, I'm a Catholic. I'm a Catholic voter, and so I look at the Catholic moral issues that are most important to me, and I try and find out which candidate is going to most align myself with that. And I have my issues. I have my problems with Trump. And I have a lot more problems with Biden. I can at least admit that point. But I think that is what they're banking on, though, is for Trump to essentially lose the election himself. And you can't win that way. And the reason why is because eventually he's going to have to come out and debate him for an hour and a half. And if he's barely getting any speeches out with a teleprompter, how in the hell is he going to be able to debate someone for an hour and 30 minutes who's known to throw bombs and is known to not take no for an answer and to not give up, to not let up? And it's going to be on primetime television too. So, Biden can do all the talking tough, saying, I know how to deal with bullies, all he wants. But he has to prove himself at the end of the day. And the other thing, too, is there's now reports about how there's no ground game for Biden in a lot of states. And again, I think that is because they think they can just ride the wave of nostalgia and be like, hey, remember Biden? Remember Obama? And that somehow will convince the Obama coalition to come back together and that people will just vote against Trump. And again, people are not voting for Biden. People are voting against Trump. Like, let's just be honest with that. There are people voting for Trump. There are not people voting for Biden, right? There's just people voting against Trump, which, hey, that's your prerogative. That's your choice. You have free will, every right to do so. But don't try and spin that to say that you actually support this dude who is barely showing up and might not even be alive. Sad. Perth Comics, how's it going, good sir? Tina B at 736 says, you missed so much after you left Friday Night Tights last night. I think Gary died a little when Ryan found the article about Amazon looking for people comfortable with nudity for Lord of the Rings show. I mean, I could see why. I mean, that's totally opposite of what, Tolkien wanted for that entire universe, right? That's not something he had in his mind, right? He was very much a Christian man, and his books have so much Christian allegory within them. And it's really just, I think, slapping him in the face. It's, him rolling over in his grave if they do crap like that. And I mean, there's always stuff I miss because I'm on for 3 hours and they go usually for almost 6 hours, which is just so insane to me. But hey, they have fun. I have fun too when I'm there. Tim Elf, how's it going, good sir? Let's see. Vinzinger G, what's going on? Says, if you had a superpower, what would your superpower be? Instant transportation, easily. Some people say flight or, super strength, and those are great. The ability to get anywhere you want instantaneously, I think, is the most useful power you could ever have. In Dragon Ball Z, it's known as just instant transmission. And seriously, it is the best. It is absolutely the best power to have. Because then I could literally go see my parents anytime I wanted to, see my best friends anytime I wanted to, go anywhere in the world anytime I wanted to, and not have to miss anything. That would be the best power, hands down. Eric K, hail to you. Hail to you, good sir. Glad to see you here. Brian Barr says, the fall of Hollywood right before our eyes. How would movies recover? Well, I mean, it just means the movies will be smaller budgets, and hopefully that means not big Hollywood stars and maybe actually good stories for once. So it actually could be a good thing. 8-Bits Nate Boy says, when is Top Gun movie coming out? July of 2021. Yeah, I haven't heard anything from... Here's the thing. People always ask me in my comment section, like, when movies are coming out. And, not to attack anyone, but you do realize that the amount of time it takes you to post a comment, You could be posting into Google, when does this movie come out? And it'll tell you. Like, I've always just been amazed when I get asked those things. It's like, I don't really have any, I always say I don't have inside knowledge, right? I don't have inside sources on things. I just have, having worked in movie exhibition, right? Working for AMC for a few years and just being a follower and lover of film for so long as well. I have certain, I guess insights you could say, but I don't have any inside, I don't have any inside exclusive sources or anything. But yeah, just Google search it. And it's July of 2021. So sadly, Top Gun is not coming out this year. And as I said, I don't think any big movies are really left. The ones that are left, I don't know how long they're going to stay in their current release schedule. Forever Sci-Fi at 739 says, W appointed Roberts, but he's been compromised since. Yep, absolutely. 13th Warrior says, the worst was Souter, nominated by Pappy Bush and joined the lefties 100%. Yeah, that's right. I totally forgot that Souter was nominated by George Bush Sr. Not George, but like George Herbert Walker Bush. Yeah, I totally forgot about that. But going back to a previous point that was made as well about Roberts, Roberts, it makes some sense to me because he does, I think, have this mindset where he doesn't want big decisions to be made on a 5-4 line if it's going to do any major damage. And I know that his mindset is, hey, it's not our job to get rid of Obamacare. That is something that the voters should decide. That's something that the Congress should decide. And I get the logic. I actually do understand that logic. But the way in which he did it, I think, was, as I said, the way he did it was my problem. Trying to spin it as a tax instead of the penalty, which is what it was called, and what the people, even to this day, say, it's not a tax, it's not a tax, it's not a tax. That was my problem with it, was the way he worded it. Because the way his logic for doing it, I think, actually makes, does make some sense. Let's see. Super says, regarding the Supreme Court, pardon the error. I must have been confused him for another appointee. I still believe the Supreme Court is too political and partisan, though. Yeah, it is. But here's the thing. I think the perception of the court is actually more partisan. I think the way in which these confirmation hearings come about is definitely more partisan. And there's been nominees that have been too, right? I think it was Elena Kagan had never served on a court. Had never served on a court before, and yet somehow not only got nominated, but also got pushed through. And so to me, it's like, how do you put forward a person that's never even served on a court before to be serving on the highest court in the land for a lifetime appointment, unless it's politically motivated? So, the reason why I would say, though, that the court itself is not as political as we think is because just look at the fact that you had two justices in Scalia and Ginsburg who were complete opposites and yet were still good friends. And to me, anytime I think of the court, I think they must all get along, because guess what? They all have each other's backs. You never hear about any of them going after anybody, right? If it was political, if the court was really political, then you would have heard justices coming out attacking Kavanaugh. You would have had the females on the court going after him, but they haven't. They've all been very supportive of each other. And I think that's something, I think what happens to the court is what we should try to adopt in our own culture and society, right? Is getting along even though we disagree, which sadly is a lost art, it seems. Bruce Hobson, how is it going? Let us see here. Brian Barth, the 746 says, what do you think of Trump at first with his presidential campaign? Were you surprised that he won? I thought his win was the people giving the system the middle finger. I think it was the people giving the system the middle finger, and I did not think it was going to. I remember I watched the entire election because, even though I really do honestly hate the realm of politics, it's still something that generally interests me because it deals with public policy. And those are the things that impact all of us, right? The fact that we have mask mandates, the fact that our economy got shut down, right? All of that is from public policy. So I was interested even before all the stuff with Corona. Now I'm even more invested in it because I care about who is getting in charge and who is going to be making my local decisions about these wide variety of topics. And I think everyone should too, right? Even if you hate the presidential stuff and the big, stuff, at the very least, you should vote local stuff because that is going to have a much more direct impact on you. At least vote local, right? He's a shop local, right? Shop smart, shop S-smart. Get that reference. I honestly do think, though, that voting locally, though, is very important, right? Everyone's like, it's your civic duty to vote. To me, it's your civic duty to vote locally, to have an impact on the community that you're currently living in, because you can have a much more direct impact on that than you can have at a more federal level, because obviously we live in a federal society, right? We live in a constitutional republic. And that means that, sometimes it seems like our votes don't really matter as much because it's not about popularity, right? It's about the electoral college. And yet that's why I'm saying if you're going to vote at least for your local stuff and maybe leave the presidential stuff blank, I would say I support that, to be honest, because I get it. It's really hard for us. But anyway, watching the 2016 election, though, I love that stuff. Like, I go to 270 to win. It's a great site, by the way, 270 to win. You can play around with the map, play around with the electoral college. I love that stuff. It's just so interesting to me. It's so interesting to me. It's fascinating to me. I love looking into the history and seeing how things happened. I love going back to times when you had, Nixon get a landslide. The fact that California at one point in its history went red, that Reagan won California both times, that Reagan had landslides both times, and only a few states didn't vote for him. It's just amazing to watch this stuff. It's so fascinating. It's so interesting to look at. But yeah, I did not think that was going to happen. I was very surprised when Trump won. And yeah, I'm going to be honest, right? I said I didn't vote for him in 2016. And so I didn't really want him. And I obviously didn't want Hillary either. And so just to see that everyone was assuming Hillary was going to win, the fact that that didn't happen, I was happy. Like that's what made me happy. It was that Hillary lost, not necessarily that Trump won. Because just them showing all the people that were so confident, that were so full of themselves, all the pollsters and the political pundits that thought they knew everything, just get it completely wrong, was hilarious. And what's even more hilarious, they're doing the same thing now, right? There's a good chance that either one of these people could win, no question. But the fact that they are having as much confidence now that Biden's going to walk away with it, it's like this is 2016 all over again. So now it wouldn't surprise me if Trump won again. It would also not surprise me if Biden won either, though, for many reasons, especially the whole vote ballots. Super at 746. I'm so excited. I am for the debate on Tuesday, though it does kind of suck that China and some other foreign affairs stuff isn't listed as a debate topic. Hoping for next time. Well, again, they're limited with time, so an hour and a half. They have to focus on issues. So the second debate actually is going to be I think more of an open forum. It's going to be one of those town halls. So they'll get questions from the audience. And I'm assuming that you'll probably have some foreign policy stuff brought up there. And I imagine that at the very least, that third debate, though, the last one that they have, if they have not covered that extensively, they will. And I want to say it normally plays out that way. Eric K746 says, I have a solution to everything. Make me ruler of this ball of mud we call the planet, and I shall fix all. No one will be happy, but I will fix it. Oh, I don't know, Eric K. I don't know. There's only one king and one absolute monarch and ruler in this world, and it, of course, is the Lord. All right, and chat has jumped on me on YouTube like it normally does. Let us see. So it looks like a couple of comments may have been skipped because it's only 7:48 in the chat. I want to say it was like 7:46, so some comments may have been skipped, maybe. But I'm going to jump over to D-Live now so I can catch up with my D-Live fam. All right. Bunch of memes and GIFs over there, including a bunch with Trump, someone getting pied in the face, American flags, Homer running around in a circle doing essentially what looks to me like the Curly from the Three Stooges, whoop, 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 running around in a circle on the floor. Phonemo, the only correct answer for a film character as a Supreme Court justice is Ledger's Joker. Ooh, I don't know. I don't know. I think Two-Face would be more sensible because at least he's fair, because it's all about chance. Imagine your Supreme Court cases being decided with the flip of a coin. At least it's fair. Camden Heights, were you still around on Friday Night Tights when they played the video from Gary Lamb thanking Tim Pool? Can't remember. No, I've seen the video, but I was not on when they were watching it through Friday Night Tights. Peabody says, in Django Unchained, I think Quentin Tarantino should have won an Oscar for the worst Australian accent I've ever heard. Oh, it was fantastic, and you know it, Peabody. And then it says, and slavery was due to Australia, apparently. I don't know. I don't think it made that point. He was a random Aussie there. And then it says, to be fair, I only watched about 5 minutes of the movie. It sucked. Yeah. Dude, yeah. 5 minutes? No. You can't say a movie sucked after just watching it for 5 minutes, man. Right? If you get maybe halfway through a movie, that is more understandable. But 5 minutes, that's not a good enough period of time to make a decision. Watch the whole damn movie, dude. I'll agree. Django Unchained is probably one of my lesser favorites of his. It's not for me, it's not a film I really ever want to watch several times over. But it's also still a solid. It's still Tarantino. It's still Tarantino. It's not one of my favorites of his, but it's still solid in a lot of ways. Phony Minute says Supreme Court Justice Scooby-Doo. Well, that would just be great. I think we should just have all dogs on the Supreme Court. That'd be great. All right, back over to YouTube at 7:48. Beat Tad says, "Don't skip this. Dooney Val U Nubi, Danny Vil U No Naubi. Help me here. Oh my lord, it's Denis Villeneuve. Denis Villeneuve. No B's." Oh, I love it. HyperDex13, do you have a favorite type of architecture? I like Asian architecture because of the roof style and find it exotic looking. I love Gothic architecture. Most especially, I just love old school churches and cathedrals. Old school cathedrals when they weren't just random white rooms that look terrible. Any major cathedral that just has beautiful architecture, artwork, that kind of stuff, that's what I like. Jens Jurgensen at 749 says, "I would like John Wayne to be a SCOTUS or Charlton Heston." Interesting. Eric K. Next time, don't put a space between Odin and question, but you're a member, so you don't need to do that. Says, "He is a judge. It is in his name. That is all you need to know. Anyone named judge must be qualified to be on the Supreme Court." So Judge Napolitano as well. Oh, let's see. Super says, "Have you ever watched Robin Williams' bit on fatherhood? If not, it is your last bit of required training for baby Thor." Robin Williams on Broadway is some of the best comedy I've ever seen in my life. Orange Eye Reviews says, "I'm willing to bet, Odin, that after Thor arrives, the next stream you will have visible bags under your eyes and your beard will be frazzled. Ah, fatherhood. I imagine there will be a lot of things." It'll be crazy. Bruce says, "Do you think Thor just doesn't want to be associated with 2020 and is trying to wait till 2021? Well, that definitely won't happen. But it makes sense. He's not rushing. Let's just put it that way. He's not rushing to enter into the 2020 world. And I don't blame him. I don't blame him one bit. Alrighty, let us see. And they won. Thanos does Blaze does 753. Atticus Finch from To Kill a Mockingbird. Ooh, that's a good one. That's actually a really good one. Good shout. Dean Approve says, "Jack Ryan is Supreme Court judge. Changed my mind." Nah, I'm not going to. Sounds good. 70B says, "Where are the puppet girls? They are upstairs with the mama, keeping her company and protecting the house." Does someone say Methuselah? Yes. Eric K says, "Judge Dredd for the Supreme Court. I am the law." I already mentioned that one, though. Angry Mango 75. "Biden's wife should be ashamed of herself for allowing the Democrats to use and abuse her husband, who is so obviously suffering from a serious degenerative ailment." Yeah, I mean, and obviously people say, "Oh, are you a doctor? Oh, are you a professional?" It's like, well, no, I'm not. But that's kind of the point. The fact that normie people, non-medical people can look and see that there's a problem, that should speak volumes. That should speak volumes to the case that's going on, And let's just put it this way. If you look at a speech he gave back between 2008 and 2012 when he was vice president and compare that to any speech he's given since he's gotten the nomination and even before he's got the nomination, it's night and day. And you don't see night and day differences like that unless there has been a huge impact on the mental capacity of the person. There's no denial that there's something going on there. And honestly, I think the reason why he's being hidden, essentially, why he's only showing up half the time, and the reason why his speeches are so short, and why he's really not doing a whole lot as far as the campaign trail goes, is because of health. I really honestly believe that. That's why, as I said, I would not be surprised if he were to announce within the next day or two that he is not going to be there for the first debate. I really would not be surprised. Forever Sci-Fi. There are people on the left turning to Satan to help him defeat Trump. That says it all. Yeah, seriously. People join the Satanist church. It's crazy. Super. Speaking of Meghan Markle, did you know what Trump said the other day? Our president is a savage. Yeah. Saying, oh yeah, he good luck with that, basically, is what he said to her husband. Rob D, Judge Trudy from the Amanda Show for Supreme Court judge. We would just need dancing lobsters. Oh, yes, Rob D, that brings me back. Yes, bring in the dancing lobsters. Hybrid X13, hey, forgive me if this sounds like a dumb question. I need to do research, but have we ever had an independent president, one that wasn't right or left? Well, here's the thing. We have not always had Democrats or Republicans, so it's hard to say right or left because political parties have really changed a lot throughout the course of history. We've had a wide variety of parties, a wide variety of political ideologies, but I would say if you looked at any single person that's ever been president, you could probably argue that they are either on the left or right. I mean, everyone is. Even independents will lean right or left. But again, even right or left are more modern political explanations than they are, permanent laws of the universe, if that makes any sense. Let us see. Soul Assassin tagged at 758. I have to ask again, who loves orange soda? Kel loves orange soda. Is it true? Mm-hmm. I do. Ooh. Yes. Keenan and Kel. Our life. Iron Vet says, Odin is Jumper. I actually don't hate that movie. It's not a good movie, but I don't hate it for the very reason that I want to have that power. Eric K says, you want instant transportation, so you are a fan of the movie Jumper, I see. Yep, boom, there it is. I actually am, for that only for that reason. Not because it's got good acting, not because it's good at all, because it really isn't. It's got a lot of problems with it. It's because of that power. Jace Doe at 79. Hollywood going back to the basics would be great. Yeah, it would be. It really honestly would be fantastic. Let us see. Justin C, how's it going? David S in the chat as well. Apex Nate Boy at 8 o'clock tagged and says, I was kind of thinking out loud with that comment. I actually did Google Maverick after I asked that question. So why did you ask me? Brian Barth, who is better, Tom Wiseau or Uwe Boll? Tom Wiseau, dude. Uwe Boll is an idiot. He's stupid. He sucks. Tom Wiseau is not only a fantastic filmmaker, but is hilarious. Jay Stowe says, speaking of basics, love Don Bluth's idea of wanting to bring back more traditional 2D animation. Yep, I'm right there supporting him too. We need more traditional 2D animation back in our world. Angry Mango, the worst thing about the Bork hearings was the way he was treated by Senator Ted Kennedy, the man who left Mary Jo Kopechne to die in a submerged car in Chappaquiddick. Speaking of which, Angry Mango, if anyone has not seen the movie Chappaquiddick, you need to do yourself a favor and watch it. I'm amazed that movie was ever made because it was taboo for so long for anyone to bring up the fact that Ted Kennedy killed a woman and got away with it scot-free. She didn't die from drowning. Keep that in mind. He drove a car off a bridge, didn't tell anyone about it for hours and hours, and she did not die from drowning. She suffocated because she found an air pocket in the car because she was still alive, waiting for help. But Ted Kennedy, he was being prepped for bigger and greater things. He was called the Lion of the Senate. And after he died, what did they say? We have to push forward this legislation, right? It's the whole in memory thing, right? So everyone's been saying, oh, her last dying, we're talking about with Justice Ginsburg, her last dying wish was that the next president would, choose her successor. And it's like, well, thank God there's not a dying wish clause, but for some reason, it's mostly on the left that this happens. Now with Ginsburg and then back in the day with Kennedy, when Ted Kennedy died, they did the same thing saying, oh, well, he fought for this forever, so we need to put it to a vote. It's like, no, that's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. But Chappaquiddick, good film. Not a great film. Important film for the story. It could have been made better, though. Forever Sci-Fi 801. People forget the whole of the people has the final say, not just 9 of them. Yeah. Yep, absolutely. Brian Barr says, Trump is the ultimate underdog. Everyone was against him. I mean, in a way, it depends on what you define as underdog. If you mean everyone being against him and yet him still pulling out the victory, then yeah, absolutely. Let us see. Eric K. first, who's a member, says, I used to date a girl that her father was a Superior Court judge. Ooh, nice. I would have been terrified. Super says, I'm worried about Lord of the Rings. It's clear Bezos is dying for his own Game of Thrones, so I fear they'll try to copy it. Or even worse, come at it thinking people love fantasy for unity and violence. Here's the thing, though. I honestly don't think that the Tolkien estate is going to allow that to happen. They've got very clear control of that IP. So I don't think they're going to get away with it. So we keep hearing all these rumors and everything, but usually it's just rumors. Normally it's stuff that's really unverified, unproven. And if it does turn out to be true, as I said, I don't think the Tolkien estate's going to allow that to happen. So Tina B says, I think my book club will commit suicide if Trump wins again. I'll be the lone survivor, and I'm serious. That's so sad, Tina. Like, I was mentioning this to my students the other day, saying there are people that literally had mental breakdowns and have PTSD because of the 2016 election. And it's like, it's one of those things where, I will not make fun of those people, because anyone that's dealing with that now, making fun of them is not going to help them. And I don't think it's going to be conducive to anything to make fun of anyone that has an actual mental illness. That all being said, to me, it's so crazy that people put so much emotion into an election that they'll have PTSD from it. And I think that speaks much more to our culture and how we really need to change the way in which we view a lot. Again, whether it's love or hate of a politician, I think either extreme is dangerous. Because as much as you might like Trump, or as much as you might hate Trump, or for the 2 people out there that might actually love Joe Biden, they are politicians at the end of the day. They are politicians who have power. They like having the power. They don't want to lose that power. And at the end of the day, none of them can be trusted. I would not let any of them babysit my child. So why would I let them? Why would I want to, is the better term there, want to let them run the country? But again, that goes for almost every politician that's currently in Washington. All of them. Toss them all out if I had my way with it. Unlimited power, I saw someone put there. But I need to get back up in the chat a little bit just to make sure I've caught up with everybody's super chats. Not super chats, regular chats. So, boom, no one's comments have been skipped this time. Let me jump back over to my D-Live fam. We do need to start wrapping things up, though. We still got 98 people watching on YouTube. Smash that like button, please, if you've not done so already. I really would appreciate it. So let me head over back to my D-Live really quick. And let us see. Peabody says 5 minutes was all it was worth. No, it's not, Peabody. No. You need to watch a lot more than that. Peabody says, I gave the room 5 minutes and I want a refund. Dude, you can't give the room 5 minutes. It's an experience. This is also something, Peabody. It's not good to watch that movie alone. I'm just going to say that. It's not good to watch that movie alone. It's not a movie really made to be watched alone. It's meant to be watched with a group of friends, everyone laughing their asses off. Like that's the way the movie is meant to be viewed. But yeah, dude, 5 minutes is not enough for any movie. I'm sorry. Unless it's a documentary and you don't like the subject matter, there's no reason why 5 minutes is going to give you an actual proper representation of the film itself. Let's see. Will Gentry tagged and says, it's not so much the politicians themselves that people get traumatized by. It's the stigma of those politicians that they have, the stigma that they let the press build up in their head about said politician. Well, again, I think it would be the politician actually, but to your point, it is the media. It's the media that is twisting the minds of people to care as much as they are. The media's job used to be, let's tell you when bad things are happening. Let's warn you about dangerous things. And now they've taken that job and their capacity to report on it and have twisted it to say, oh, this one individual person is dangerous, is evil. And when you throw that and force that down people's throats day after day after day after day, guess what? It's going to lead to the kind of crap that we saw in 2016 where people had genuine breaks in a terrible way. Yeah, don't spam. Don't spam. Spamming is not good, Melissa. Captain Hines says, I guess the room wasn't made for me. I have no friends. No. All of us have friends. Just got to look around sometimes. 806, Rob D. tagged and says, what would make my head explode is if New York actually becomes a red state this election. Yeah, I remember someone putting that out there. No, that's not going to happen. That is not going to happen. There's not many things I can say with a lot of confidence, but to me, you would see there's a better chance of a place like Minnesota going red, or places like, again, Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania staying red like they were in 2016. New Hampshire flipping red as well. Those would be the places you would see. New York, people have been saying it's going to be a landslide. No, I don't see that on either side of the coin. It's going to be close. Obviously, it'll be close. Popular vote. Honestly, I think it's very clear Biden's going to win the popular vote. And I think that right now, if I had to put money on anything, I would say Trump would win the Electoral College in the 300 range, if I had to take a guess. If I were Sci-Fi 809, Two-Face would be great. Imagine how simple it would be to read the decision. It was tails. That's so true. It'd be so much easier to understand the logic of why a decision was made. Oh, man. It's so good. It's so good. All right, let's see. Super true. I think another mistake is they're focusing too much on Trump's personality. Go with Biden because he's normal. No, policy matters. I don't care who Trump sasses on Twitter. Yeah, and here's the thing. Both matter, Super. That's the thing. Both matter. Personality and policy both matter. And to me, I think some people only focus on personality, and I think that's a bad decision. And then some people also only focus on policy. I also think that's a bad decision too. Now, which is more important? I would argue policy. But personality is also very important too. Again, it's personality, which is why I didn't vote for him in 2016 and why I'm not really keen to vote for him now. Policy-wise, he's actually very aligned with things that I agree with. A lot of policies I am thrilled with. Recently, he passed an executive order saying that we have to provide medical care for any child that survives an abortion. I think that is fantastic. I think that's a great thing for him to do. At the same time, though, that's not his job. His job, the legislators are the one that should be doing that. But then again, they're not doing their job, and to me, that's a matter of life and death, and so therefore, he would have, in my opinion, the right to do that in that circumstance. And to me, if that's something that could then get brought to court and go up to the Supreme Court, again, if Amy Coney Barrett gets confirmed, there's I wouldn't say a guarantee, right? Because as I said before, right, breaking down the numbers, if Amy Coney Barrett gets the actual nomination and gets confirmed, you're gonna have 3 liberals, 3 conservatives, and then 3 swing votes. So only 2 of those votes would need to side with the conservatives to overturn Roe v. Wade. But again, that's 2 inconsistent, 2 out of the 3 inconsistent justices. And then people get that wrong. They're like, overturn Roe v. Wade, my body, right, boo, boo, boo. Even though it doesn't make sense logically. Here's the thing, though. All that does is mean that the states get to decide whether it's legal or not in their individual state. People have this conception that it's going to make it completely, that the A word that I don't like to say because YouTube doesn't like the word, that all of a sudden everything will be completely illegal and banned. No. If Roe v. Wade is overturned, all that means is that it goes back to the states, which at the very least, is a starting point. All right, it's a good starting point. It's not perfect, but we can't change the culture through legislation. All right. Slicer says, after all the judging Amy got, she should get justice by being a justice. Never watched Judging Amy, by the way, just clarifying. Okay. Father, hail to you. Got here right at the end. Hybrid X13. Hey, brother, sorry, don't know if this comment was skipped. The fact the Academy didn't nominate the child actress from Train to Busan goes to show how pathetic they are. Well, here's the thing, too. It's a foreign language film, and they tend not to nominate a lot of actors from foreign language films for acting. So I would say that is actually not a fault of the Academy. There's other things we can look at to talk about as far as faults of the Academy go. But there is that child definitely gave a better performance than most other people have. Father says, odds that there won't be a debate Tuesday. I think it's 60-40. I think 60% chance there is a debate, 40% chance there isn't. I think there's a 40, that's a very strong chance, 40% chance that Biden doesn't show. Let's see. Super says, Biden is so bad he makes George Bush decline look normal. Angry Mango, I was at Punahou School in Hawaii at the same time as Obama in the 70s. If the news media had revealed who he really was, he never would have been elected president. He's a total fraud. Yeah, it's amazing to me. Things are still to this day. Certain records are still locked down. People still don't know really who he is. The media have protected him even to this day. 13th Warrior at 8014, textualism is the new hotness. Originalism is passé. Ah, okay. Gotcha. Let's see. Bruce says, Odin, I think the Democrats will just go with a tried and true way to disrupt things to stop the debate. Just before the airing of the debate, they will call in a bomb threat. Nah, I mean, honestly, I don't think they would even do that, to be perfectly honest, because here's the thing. No one's going to be in there. I don't think there's going to be a crowd. So that wouldn't even be a thing that they could even really potentially do. I think the much more likely scenario is that Biden claims to have COVID or something. Because then guess what? Then he's out for 2 weeks. Where's Joe? Oh, he's in quarantine. Oh, of course. Bruce says follow up, and they will use that as a way to just call off all their debates. No, COVID will be. That will be the way to do it. Now, the bomb threat, Bruce? No. I don't think there's any chance in hell that would be a reason. That to me is just too far out. They're not that, again, that's just not going to happen. COVID, though, that to me is much more likely because then you get 2 weeks to do that. Father says, warning about Chappaquiddick, Jim Gaffigan is in his underwear. Yeah, but you know what? It's a movie that needs to be seen. David S., I keep joining, but YouTube keeps kicking me out. I don't know why, David S. That's YouTube. That's not me. It's not me. Orange Hat. Odin, I've been thinking, why haven't SJWs gone after the Rocky movies? I mean, they love saying everything is racist, and Rocky beat 3 black guys and a Russian. How have they not complained yet? That's my answer. Yet. Father, did you see the video of the woman who rear-ended someone while yelling at Trump protesters and got busted by the cop? That was yeah, it was so funny. So yeah, if you've not seen it, basically she's hanging out her window, flipping off Trump supporters, and then in that, the car starts moving forward, and she runs into the person in front of her, and yeah, the cops all of a sudden just puts on the lights, and yeah, that was pretty great. Karma working in a clear way. Rabdi, they gave crayons and blankets to university students who were not happy Trump won. Yeah, that's when the whole safe space crap started. Like, the whole safe space nonsense came after that because people were actually damaged. They were actually damaged by an election. Someone won an election, and it broke people. It's sad. At the end of the day, really, it's sad. All right, let me try and catch up with everyone on YouTube so we can end things. Angry Mango, Trump just became a politician in 2015. Joe Biden is the epitome of Washington, D.C. corruption. Yeah, I agree, but Trump is also still a politician. And even before he was a politician, he was a rich guy. He was a rich guy that was in bed with a lot of politicians, giving them money and campaign stuff. So he was essentially the same as any politician because Lord knows what policies he influenced because of his money, to be honest. Father says, "Fooey on you, Mr. Peabody. The room is awesome." If Father Christopher Miller says the room is awesome, and then, yeah, Peabody, you need to give it more than 5 minutes, man. Eric K. Danger, Will Robinson. Danger, Will Robinson. Soul Assassin. I want Trump just to walk out and say, "I am the Senate." I just want him to go on and say, "Wrong." Some of my favorite clips from the 2016 debates are just when he goes, "Wrong." Father says, "Okay, I'm now free. The show can end." Exactly. That's typically how it works here. Abis Neighboy, 100% agree on mental breakdown thing. One of my friends had a complete breakdown over Brexit at the last election here in the UK and was foaming at the mouth. He's just bitter and hateful now. It's just sad. It really is. It really is sad. Eric K, does Odin have the cult of personality? Great song, by the way, Cult of Personality. But yeah, that's just the thing. This whole cult of personality on either side is dangerous. It really is dangerous. I'm next 13. Policy and personality. Okay, brother. I got CM Punk and Randy Orton. The cult of personality and RKO policy. Cult of personality. Look in my eyes. What do you see? The cult of personality. Great song. Man, I miss CM Punk. Eric O'Sullivan. Hey, man, happy Saturday. What's your favorite samurai movie? Seven Samurai. Dario Sussman. Shouldn't life or death stuff be decided on the federal level? See, here's the thing. That's the thing, Dario, is that I think it should be. To me, it's clear based on science that the A word is murder, and murder is very clearly against the law. However, most people, there's still a clear 50-50 split in our country with people who are pro-life versus pro-choice. Even though the vast majority of people think there should be at least some restrictions. The only way, though, that can ever happen, for there to be any restrictions at all, the first step is for Roe v. Wade to be overturned. That is literally the first step, because then it can be up to the states to decide. And then once the states can decide, then that is when the government can come in and hopefully the culture can start to change. And when the culture finally is much more in line with that, hopefully, then we'll eventually see an outright ban, because if most people in the culture will say that, then. Eric K, thank you for the $2 super chat, says, great to catch you this weekend. Thank you for being here, Eric K. Them Truckers, thank you for the $5 super chat, says, who do you think was a better action hero, Stallone or Arnold? I mean, both were just great in different ways. I probably would say Stallone, only because I feel like I could understand him a little bit better. But I think I like Arnold films better. Last Action Hero, to me, is still one of my all-time favorite films that Arnold ever did. Angry Mango, thank you for the $5 super chat, says, Odin, may your family be blessed with good health and happiness. Well, thank you, Angry Mango. I very much appreciate that. Harvard X13 says, Samurai Cop is better than Seven Samurai, The Room, Godfather, Fanatic, Citizen Kane, Fact. Nope. I've never actually seen it, so I couldn't say one way or the other. Let's see. Father says, 8:30, Biden in quarantine. He has to leave the basement to be able to catch it. Yes, that's true. But again, doesn't matter. They'll find a way. They will find a way indeed. Bruce says, bomb threat was an example. I couldn't list everything, but I like the COVID angle. Yeah, but to me, bomb, if we're talking about a list of 20 things, that's going to be like the bottom. That's going to be like the least likely thing to happen. Again, COVID is a much, much more likely scenario to actually happen. So let's see here. Yojimbo. I've not seen Yojimbo, so I couldn't say it. I own it. I've not seen it, but. Alex McCarthy, someone say Arnold. I love Arnold. I know you do. Forever Sci-Fi, Roe v. Wade is a terrible decision because it's based on the premise that the Constitution grants rights. It does no such thing. It guarantees. This is also true. And also the whole right to privacy thing. Last time I checked, that is not a part of the right to privacy at all. No, you're absolutely right. It was a terrible decision. That's why I am hoping we can get justices that will see that and say, yeah, this was a bad decision. Even though it's precedent, it's bad precedent. You know, there was a time in which certain things were legal when obviously they were still immoral and wrong. So hopefully we can get to a point very soon where people can finally wake up to that and say, nope, it is immoral. Overturn it. Tina says, Miami Connection, Samurai Cop are room levels of bad. We should have watched those during the summer. Maybe next summer. Alex McCarthy, Jack Slater for Supreme Court, maybe. All right, and then D-La Fam. Let's see. Peabody says, I watched all of Tenet. That was a mistake. Tenet was good, man. But again, if you're willing to watch all of Tenet, then you should probably watch The Room. It's much more fun. Cabney Heights, I guess The Room wasn't made for me. I have no friends. Got that one already. Daniel Thorne, where do I find the scientific reasons against the A word? Well, I'll put it this way. When does life begin? Well, at conception, cells are reproducing. That is basic life. All right, we've defined now that life exists. What kind of life is it? Well, it's not a giraffe. It's not a dog. So what kind of life is it? Okay, it's human. So we've defined now that at conception there is human life. And then the only other thing you have then is my body. Well, that now human life, as we've already defined just by using basic reason and logic, has its own unique genetic code, which is distinct from the mother. And last time I checked, no one can say, this is my body, and then also at the same time say, oh, this part of my body also happens to have a completely distinct genetic code that is not of my body. So, boom, there you go. In 5 minutes, it can easily be refuted. Less than 5 minutes even. Dan Thorne, have you reviewed Kajillionaire? Nope, and I've not seen Elena Holmes either. So again, if you're talking about reviews, normally I'll post those on the channel. Peabody says, sorry, Father, I gave the room 5 minutes. That's all it gets. Nope. Peabody, you need to watch more than that. That is your homework. That is your homework. Alrighty, so that's going to be it. I see a couple other things that popped in, but I do need to head out. So let me go ahead and shout out my YouTube members who are at the $5 and up level, my Army of Asgard level and up. So let me just click those over here and hit apply. So shout out to Bruce, Andrew Hoyle, Eric K, Orange Hat Reviews, Adam Avery, Latino Slant, The Bosco 2000, Twirly Wolf, Jace Doe, Aiden Vickery. Thank you very much for being members on the channel. My DLAF fam, y'all stick around. I will take care of y'all as I always do. Mods, also on DLive, if y'all could keep an eye out for people that love to jump in at the last second to try and screw things up, please consider using that delete and mute option quickly, because it's happened in the last couple of streams and it's really sad. It really is sad. So my YouTube fam, thank y'all so much for being here. Shout out to Tina and Steph for being amazing mods once again. I hope you all enjoyed it. Make sure you smash the like button on the way out as well. Right now, the next planned stream that I have is going to be for Tuesday. Monday, actually, is my birthday. So the birthday is back once again. I'll not be streaming on my birthday this year. I'll instead be streaming on Tuesday for the One Man Low Council is the current plan. But obviously, many things can happen. Many things can change. And when it comes to birth especially, can happen at any time. So thank you very much. See you hopefully all on Tuesday. Smash the like button. Love you guys from the bottom of my heart. Thank you all for joining me for this wonderful discussion. Have a wonderful evening. And as always, God bless. And now a huge shout out to all of my September Patreon and Subscribe Star members: Albertus Magnus, Animation Commentator, Brian P., David Bobrizik, Dion, Divex, Enrique Evangelista, Father Christopher Miller, hail to you, Father, Father Damian Cook, Frank the Tank and the Shawhan Wiener Dog Clan, Harold Francis, The Hunky Chunky Funky Monkey, Inflamed Wood, Intertrap Productions, Jason Clark, Jacob Juice, Jeffrey Toon, Jonathan Carney, Kenneth Camille, Lady T, Laura the Modern Major General Story, Mad Mitch Dunaway, Mike Jackson, Mr. Peabody and his evil twin with the beautiful hair, On to June, Orange Hat Reviews, Out of Step with Reality, Outpost Dyer, Riff Magos, Rosetta Allen, Steve Glasker, Teresa Martin, Theodore Bendon, Tina Bojan, and Tina B. Thank you very much for being my supporters over on Patreon. And to my Subscribe Star members, stand for John B., Perpetual Punster, Robert Revo, Mr. Roy, Glinzer, Darkstar 57, J. Alex McCarthy Jr., US 888209 Fast, Dean Heiss, Harold Francis, J-Rod the Beer Guru, Nebadon G. Adams, and the K-Man. Thank you so very much for being my supporters over on Subscribestar, and a shout out to all of my supporters on both platforms. If you yourself want to get your name shouted out at the end of every single video and live stream, please consider joining on Patreon or Subscribestar. You can also get access to exclusive giveaways, to an exclusive podcast that I do twice a month with my friend John the Flick Pig Flickinger, where we talk about just random stuff going on in the movies, our reviews, and also we take Q&A questions from everyone as well in those categories. So if you would like to have any of those things or access to them, or even the biggest of them all, to be one of my chosen of Valhalla and get a t-shirt during your first month, and also have access to be featured on the channel once a month on the Chosen of Valhalla live stream, please consider checking that out in the links in the description below. You guys are all amazing and beautiful people. Have a wonderful day, and as always, God bless.